Hello, everyone. My name is Laura, and I'm 28 years old. For privacy reasons, I'm using a pseudonym. I want to share with you my journey of navigating challenges with my mother-in-law and husband. I hope you find my story engaging. Let me start from the very beginning to give you a full picture of my experiences. At 24, fresh out of community college, I was in the prime of my modeling career. I'm quite tall, standing at 5'10", with green eyes and a slim figure. Although I wasn't walking the high fashion runways, I modeled for various smaller brands, including clothing, jewelry, and occasionally advertisements for car dealerships. Modeling was more of a passion than a steady job, so I worked part-time as a waitress to make ends meet. Then, Justin came into my life. We met through friends and instantly hit it off. After dating for a year and a half, he proposed, and I eagerly said yes, excited to start our lives together. We weren't rich, but we were full of ambition and ready to tackle whatever came our way. After the wedding, I moved into Justin's house, which also happened to be where his mother, Nicole, lived since she owned the home. I assumed her living with us would be temporary, but I soon realized it was just the start of our problems. Once married, everything changed. Justin became a different person around his mom, epitomizing the term mama's boy to a whole new level. Sharing a roof with Nicole brought unforeseen challenges. She began criticizing my career choices, pointing out that despite working long hours at the diner and pursuing modeling, I wasn't contributing much financially. She suggested I leave modeling behind and find a more reliable job. I understood where Nicole was coming from. I didn't want to abandon modeling entirely, but I agreed it was time to leave waitressing and find a more stable job using my degree. Justin echoed his mother's sentiments, emphasizing the importance of contributing more to our household expenses, especially since we'd been married for 5 months and bills were starting to add up. Embarking on a new chapter, I was fully aware that my earnings from the construction business alone were not sufficient to cover all our expenses. "You're 25, for heaven's sake," I would remind myself. If fame was destined for you, it would have happened by now. It was clear that my dream of stardom wasn't panning out. "It's time to step out of the fantasy world," I conceded, eyeing the mounting bills. Being a part of this family meant I needed to contribute more. "All right, I'll start looking for something new, perhaps a job that can offer more stability," I resolved. I didn't harbor any resentment towards Nicole and Justin. Deep down, I knew they were right. They wanted the best for me, urging me to grow and contribute more significantly to our household. Motivated by their concern, I embarked on a job search, eager to put my skills to good use. Within 3 months, I secured a job that required managing online tasks and interacting with customers over the phone. This position significantly improved from my waitressing days, offering a decent paycheck and a sense of stability. The time had come to have a heart-to-heart with my modeling agent. I explained my decision to step away from modeling, a career that, despite my hopes, hadn't advanced since I got married. It was a tough decision, but it was the right one. I realized modeling wouldn't pave the way to a secure future. This realization felt liberating. My new job might not have the allure of photo shoots, but it was a solid step towards contributing financially and building a future with Justin. I was ready to prove to Nicole and Justin that I was capable of shouldering the responsibilities of being part of their family. "Well, it looks like someone finally landed a proper job," they remarked, half jokingly, yet with a hint of pride. "It's not much, but it's a start," I replied modestly, only to be interrupted by their encouragement. "It's a good salary indeed. Now that you're bringing in a steady income, maybe we could use your earnings to cover the mortgage instead of dipping into my savings," Nicole suggested, half serious, half teasing. I pondered the idea, curious about the mortgage amount. "Our home is lovely. How much do we owe monthly?" "The mortgage is nearly $4,100, they revealed. $4,100? I gasped, realizing it nearly matched my entire salary. Yet, after a moment of calculation, I found solace in the fact that, even after contributing to the mortgage, I could still manage to save a bit. It was a challenging yet promising start to my new role within the family, one I was determined to embrace fully. Starting a new job, I was mindful that it might take some time before I could expect a raise or promotion. "You're not going anywhere, Laura. You're living here with us, so we expect your full contribution. If there are any problems, I'm here to help as much as I can," they said encouragingly. "That's exactly what I want to hear. Now, it's time to put in the hard work." Initially, I didn't recognize this situation as a potential issue. To give you a better understanding, let me share a bit about my background. My relationship with my parents was strained, to say the least. The moment I turned 19, I moved out. My parents were not supportive, often making me feel unwanted and burdensome. Our home was filled with constant arguments, so leaving was my only recourse. Uncertain of what a nurturing household looked like, I thought contributing to the mortgage was the right decision. Thankfully, I had some savings, so I wasn't in a dire financial situation. For the first 3 months, things seemed to run smoothly. From my paycheck, I would save $500 and allocate the remaining $3,600 towards the mortgage. Justin took care of groceries and other bills and even managed to keep our romance alive with occasional dates. However, living with Nicole meant that Justin and I lacked the personal space we needed to flourish as a couple. Conversations about moving out and getting our place were met with Justin's hesitancy, always suggesting we needed to stay with his mom a bit longer. Though concrete plans never materialized, determined to change our situation, I was ready to take action. But then an unexpected complication arose. Justin's ex-girlfriend, Stephanie. It had been a long time since they'd seen each other. "Hey, Stephanie, long time no see," exclaimed Justin. Introducing myself as Justin's wife caught her by surprise. "Justin, married? Wow." Stephanie was visiting because her family was considering selling their old home nearby, and she was checking on the property. Stephanie's visit sparked an awkward exchange, especially when she reminisced about her past with Justin and commented on her current single status, hinting at what might have been. Despite the uncomfortable situation, I remained polite, though internally I was assessing how this unexpected encounter might influence our already complicated living situation. The moment was surreal when Nicole playfully hinted at the grandchildren Stephanie and Justin could have had, featuring her ocean blue eyes and blonde hair. Nicole's teasing made everyone a bit uneasy, prompting Justin to ask his mom to ease up on the awkward jests. As Stephanie prepared to leave, she suggested grabbing drinks with Justin while she was in town, an idea he seemed open to. I stood there, puzzled and a bit taken aback. Who was this Stephanie? And what past did she share with Justin that I was unaware of? Despite my surprise, I didn't let my emotions run wild with jealousy or insecurity. Perhaps they were just old friends catching up. With that thought, I continued with my day, focusing on work and awaiting Justin's return home. Later that evening, alone with Justin, I couldn't help but inquire about Stephanie. "Who is she and what was that exchange about this morning?" I asked gently. Justin reassured me, explaining they grew up together and had a brief history but emphasized it was long over. He mentioned that his mother had always been fond of Stephanie, thinking highly of her, which only added to my curiosity and slight irritation. Why had Justin never mentioned Stephanie before, especially given their history? Despite my frustrations, I didn't want to come across as petty. After all, they were just friends catching up, right? Justin didn't bring up Stephanie again, and I assumed she wouldn't be around long enough to cause any further concern. I decided to let it go, hoping things would return to normal. However, Stephanie's appearance was far from a brief interlude. At dinner one night, the tension escalated. Nicole commented on my diet, unfavorably comparing me to Stephanie, which left me feeling undermined. Justin tried to diffuse the situation, reminding his mother that such comments were unhelpful and unnecessary. This incident marked the beginning of a period filled with tension and awkwardness, with Stephanie's brief return sparking unexpected chaos within the household. Gaining a bit of weight didn't seem like a big deal to me at first, given the transition from the constant movement of waitressing to a sedentary desk job. However, Nicole's comments during dinner were less about concern and more about criticism. "You've put on some weight," she observed, comparing me unfavorably to Justin, suggesting I needed to match up to his appearance to avoid negative talk behind my back. The suggestion to diet felt less like advice and more like a directive, highlighting my job's mediocrity as if it were a factor in my physical changes. "Laura, Mom has a point," Justin chimed in, agreeing with his mother's harsh perspective. I conceded to be more mindful of my diet and to incorporate some exercise into my routine, despite the sting of their words. The comments at dinner weren't isolated. They evolved into a persistent critique of my body and life choices. Nicole's comparisons to Stephanie, who she praised for her academic achievements and disparaged my past modeling career, were especially painful. It felt as though my past and my decisions were being trivialized. An old modeling photo of mine became a subject of mockery rather than nostalgia, and Nicole's comments about my family background felt like targeted attacks rather than casual observations. The most challenging aspect was the sense that these criticisms were not just Nicole's, but were shared or at least unchallenged by Justin. When I broached the topic of moving out due to Nicole's relentless negativity, Justin's resistance puzzled me. His insistence on staying, despite our financial ability to move, hinted at a deeper reluctance to change our living situation. "What do you want from me?" "You knew I lived with my mom when we were dating," Justin responded when I pressed the issue. His reference to the past, when visits were limited to weekends, ignored the current, more intense environment of constant scrutiny and comparison. Justin's reaction to my concerns, questioning the validity of Nicole's critiques rather than offering support, was disheartening. "Are you saying I'm not attractive to you?" I finally asked, seeking clarity amidst the emotional turmoil. The question lingered, representing a broader uncertainty about our relationship's foundation and the impact of external opinions on our mutual respect and affection. When the conversation turned to attractiveness, Justin bluntly stated that Stephanie was more appealing than I was, noting that I had changed and not for the better. His words cut deep, especially since I had been dedicating myself to a demanding desk job, with most of my earnings going toward paying his mother's mortgage. I tried to explain how exhausting it was to maintain a perfect appearance while working long hours, but Justin retorted that I had let myself go, unfavorably comparing me to Stephanie's self-care and success. I was stunned by Justin's harsh judgment. His comments made me feel unattractive and unsuccessful, a painful realization that left me feeling utterly devalued. The following day, our communication broke down completely, and I returned home from another long workday to find Justin getting ready for an outing, with Nicole adjusting his attire. Nicole casually mentioned she had arranged for Justin to have a break from me by setting him up with Stephanie. My shock and confusion were met with confirmation from Justin that he indeed saw this as an escape and welcomed the opportunity. His readiness to meet another woman under the guise of needing a break was humiliating. The situation escalated as Justin, egged on by his mother, insulted my appearance and career, crudely demeaning me in ways I had never imagined possible. Feeling belittled and disrespected, I made a decisive move that night. With tears in my eyes, I packed my belongings and left without a word, seeking refuge in a motel while I gathered my thoughts. During that reflective week, I found a modest apartment and resolved to rise above the hurtful body shaming. I focused on improving myself not out of spite, but for my well-being, shedding the weight I had gained. This ordeal shed light on the extent of the body shaming I endured, a testament to their unrealistic standards for a normal body. I immersed myself in work, personal care, and household responsibilities, all on my terms. The most telling part of this entire episode was Justin's silence. He made no effort to reconcile or understand my perspective. Confirming my decision to move forward independently was the right one. The day after Justin's outing, he sent me a dismissive text, labeling me a loser and tauntingly suggesting I could continue to hide, as he believed that's what losers do. His words were the last I heard from him. Despite being isolated with neither friends nor family to turn to, I refused to be discouraged. In an inspired turn of events, I decided to put myself back into the modeling world. An opportunity for an anonymous audition came up, and I seized it, eager to prove my worth, especially to Justin. I aced the audition and was selected to be the face of a new makeup campaign. This wasn't just any campaign. It was associated with a well-known internet influencer. Although I can't divulge specifics about the brand or the individuals involved, my work was soon featured on platforms like YouTube and across social media, marking a significant turn in my career. This gig not only provided a substantial paycheck, but also opened up further opportunities in the industry. Before I knew it, I was catching glimpses of myself in niche fashion magazines, living out what once seemed like a distant dream. 3 months had passed since I left Justin and Nicole, and amidst my burgeoning success, I decided it was time for a small act of vindication. Realizing I had left some belongings at their house, I made a spontaneous decision to retrieve them, curious to reveal my transformation. I arrived unannounced, eager to gauge their reactions to the new me. Knocking on the door, I was greeted by Nicole, who was visibly surprised by my appearance. "Just here to pick up a few things," I mentioned casually, highlighting my weight loss and a newfound sense of style as a result of cutting off toxic influences. Nicole's snide remark about my boldness didn't faze me. My focus was on seeing Justin. He was in the backyard, and upon Nicole's call, he came inside. Justin had changed too. He had grown a beard. But the changes in our appearances were just the surface. Standing there, I was not the same person they had belittled and demeaned. This moment wasn't just about showing off my physical transformation, but demonstrating my resilience and success despite their negativity. It was a revelation not just for them, but for me as well, reaffirming my strength and independence. Justin's appearance was noticeably different when I saw him again, hinting at some rough times he might have gone through. "You've changed," he remarked, seemingly with a hint of regret. He hastily tried to reassure me that nothing had happened between him and Stephanie, but his words felt empty. I was no longer the person who hung on his every word or sought his validation. My life had taken a remarkable turn for the better, something I was eager to demonstrate. With a mix of pride and a hint of triumph, I showed Justin a magazine featuring me on the cover, a tangible symbol of my achievements and independence. "This is me now," I declared, showcasing how far I'd come without their stifling influence. Despite Justin's surprise and Nicole's sudden change of tune, their belated acknowledgement of my success didn't sway me. Justin's attempt to reconcile, citing our marital status and expressing regret over his actions, felt insincere given the timing. Their attempts to convince me to return to the fold were futile. I had grown beyond their manipulations and dismissive attitudes. Firm in my resolve, I informed Justin of my intention to seek a divorce, a decision I made with clarity and determination. A year later, my life had transformed. At 28, I was thriving, embracing my independence, and exploring a vibrant career as an influencer manager. This role not only satisfied my creative urges, but also allowed me to remain connected to the world of modeling, albeit from a different perspective. My professional success was complemented by a fulfilling personal life, marked by genuine friendships and the joy of settling into a new, cozy apartment. As for Justin and Nicole, their current circumstances were of little concern to me. The last I heard, Justin was full of regret, a sentiment that arrived too late to mend the rift between us. The divorce was a closing chapter on a phase of my life that, while once filled with promise, had taught me the invaluable lesson of self-reliance and personal growth. This journey wasn't a fairy tale, but rather a testament to the unpredictable and often challenging path of pursuing one's dreams. It underscored the importance of following one's passion and refusing to let others dictate your worth. My story is a reminder that life is a canvas of possibilities, and happiness and success lie in our ability to navigate its complexities with courage and resilience.